possibility for coastal flood.
To find out, why not ask your John Deere dealer? He's right where you need him.
For more information about John Deere lawn and garden equipment, contact your local John Deere dealer.
Weather. Every day it moves and changes. There's something happening somewhere, and we bring you all of it in WeatherScope, the day's top weather stories, with live on-the-scene reports during major breaking events, up-to-the-minute forecast for the nation and specific regions, and fascinating insight that lets you understand exactly what's happening and why. WeatherScope, it's all the weather you want, every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour on the Weather Channel. In this half hour, WeatherScope, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, TravelWise gives you the latest on travel hotspots. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, the storm update. Right now on the Weather Channel, your local forecast. This is WeatherScope.
Rain, high winds, and lots of snow. That's what's ahead for those in the Northeast. Good morning and welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Bruce Edwards. Now, it's almost April, but we're looking at a potential for a two-day event that could leave a wintry mess battering the Northeast coastline and dumping snow over the interior sections of New England. With more on what's coming and why, let's check in with Vivian Brown in the Weather Channel Forecast Center. Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning, Bruce, and a very pleasant Monday morning to you. We do have a nor'easter developing, and if you live in the Northeast, you know what a nor'easter is. It's an area of low pressure that intensifies off the New England coast, and throughout the next 24 hours, that area of low pressure that we're watching right now is going to get deeper and deeper, and we're anticipating some pretty heavy snows and very, very windy conditions over much of the northeastern quadrant of the country. We have in place live our very own Rick Griffin. He's standing by in West Andover, Massachusetts, which is just northwest of Boston. Good morning, Rick.
Well, good morning to you, Vivian. Thanks a lot. As I mentioned about a half an hour ago when we arrived at Logan Field last night around 10 o'clock, there were a lot of folks in shorts and T-shirts and that sort of thing, because yesterday here in Andover in the Boston metro area and all of southern New England, it was very pleasant. It was 60 to 65 degrees and the sun was out. Well, I can tell you this morning, and you can probably see that it's back to jackets and rain gear. And then later today, we're talking probably winter parkas and snow shovels as the rain that's falling right now changes over to a heavy wet snow. Again, right now we have rain, light rainfall activity. It's still in the 40s at this time, so it would appear that the snow is at least a couple hours away. Weather changes in the last half hour, just the fact that the wind is beginning to pick up a little bit, and that's probably a sign of the strengthening storm off to our south and southwest. That storm, of course, will tend to draw cold air into its circulation, draw it southward across this area, and with the increasing upward motion in the atmosphere, we'll get some additional cooling, and we do expect this rain to change over to snow in this area in Andover later on this afternoon and this evening. Again, there's a lot of talk about the upcoming storm. The fact that we're going to see a wet, wind-driven snow, perhaps blizzard conditions, and enough snow to really cause some travel problems in this area. In addition to that, there's a little bit of a fear that power lines and trees could come down because of the fact that it'll be a very wet snowfall, and winds along the coast could hit 50 to 60 miles an hour, so there may be coastal flooding and beach erosion to talk about as well. So right now it's raining. Later today, we do expect the snow to arrive. We'll be here to cover it for you. Meanwhile, back to you, Vivian.
Okay, well, Rick, I just have one question. West Andover, how far is that from the downtown Boston area? Is it a suburb of Boston?
It is indeed. We're about 15 miles north of downtown Boston.
Okay, so we do anticipate some pretty heavy snows developing in the next 12 hours or so in the Boston area, so things will certainly start to go downhill where you are. And of course, we appreciate you being there so that we can constantly communicate with you and disseminate that weather information to everyone else. Thanks, Rick.
You bet.
I'll tell you what, it has been a big storm already. We've had some pretty heavy snow in western New York and western Pennsylvania. Along the coast, though, this morning, some of the big cities like New York reporting moderate rain, and we have some moderate rain in Philadelphia. But as Rick mentioned, yesterday, temperatures were well into the 60s, so it was very warm in New England yesterday, and that's why we are starting off as rain this morning. But as this area of low pressure intensifies and a lot of cold air will be pulled southward, all of that rain will be changing over to snow, and the snow will be locally heavy. Anywhere from 6 to 12 inches are possible, and actually around the Berkshires of Massachusetts, the mountains in the western part of the state can pick up anywhere to 18 and perhaps 20 inches of snow before all said and done. So this is a pretty big storm, and we certainly want you to be aware of that. Right now, things do not look too bad because it's moderate rain falling, but again, this will change over to snow. I want to tell you now the temperatures. You can see below freezing temperatures from Rochester and Erie and Pittsburgh, but right along the coast, we're still in the mid-40s, but that will be changing over to temperatures below freezing, and that's when we will begin to see the snow. Our latest radar shows rain moving into the Boston area. It's been moderately heavy, again, right across Long Island, so if you're getting on the LIE this morning, please allow extra time.